Goat versus fish. Welcome. Welcome. Goat versus fish is in the secret versus here. Live out here in Pheonix, Arizona. But beyond that, Goat versus Fish can provide you with no more critical information. It's a secret versus. It's a secret versus. You must be safe. We must safely bring you morning motivationals. It's a secret. BBDH187, it's a secret versus. Well, Mom, it's a secret versus. Lucid nap. It's a secret versus. Some information is known by Goat versus Fish. And this information remains with Goat versus Fish. 100 streams of fence. 100 streams of fence. For Mike and Fix Amber Heard. Not much more to say about that. Your secret is safe with us and the entire interwebs. Do you know the secret? PBDH187, do you know the secret? How can the secret be truly safe with you if you do not know it? Shh. Celebration for Goat. Goat versus Fish is here to bring you the morning motivational. Goat versus Fish is here to count the goat and fish. We are pleased you are here with Goat versus Fish. Did Goat versus Fish get sleepy time? There has been some rest of Goat versus Fish. There's been some rest of Goat versus Fish. There will be the rest of Goat versus Fish. We suspect there will be more rest of Goat versus Fish. But if Goat versus Fish's location does not remain secret, then they will all come for Goat versus Fish. They'll come for Goat versus Fish while Mom must toil. Well, what if they don't know where you are? Then how will they know? Secret. Locational. Perhaps the first of many. The first of many secret locational motivationals. Are you goat or fish? Don't encourage me to disappear. I just might. Wow, Mom, the disappearing goat. Who's got a secret? Are you going to be secret about your decision to choose goat or fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Lucid nap goat. Goat for unification. If Goat versus Fish can recall your previous verses of if you are for unification or if you are for the verses Goat versus Fish, we'll make it written. Unless you wish to. Otherwise, inform Goat versus Fish. Laser focus. Goat. Celebration for Goat. Fitzcraft Fish. Celebration for Fish. Fitzcraft, who would have thought that when we were doing Late Night with Goat versus Fish at the Cell Phone Repair Theater, that Goat versus Fish would be live from a secret location in Pheonix, Arizona. Who would have thought? All the way, Lucid Nap is unification, all the way. I revealed my secret. It wouldn't be secretive anymore, says Dragon Balls 325. Now that's something to ponder. The Super 7 Motel, Super 7 Motel 8, Motel 9, Motel 12, Hotel 15. Pheonix narrows it down. You might think so. You might think so. Motel 6-7? No, that's a versus. Why isn't there a Motel 6-7? Encourage travel among the youth. Motel 6-7. We'll leave the yeet on for you. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. If your goat starts acting up, then you take a fish. I can fix Amber Heard on your 100th living stream. Are you goat or are you fish? Dragon Balls 325. Goat or fish. We are still counting. We are still counting the goat and fish here. We know you have an expectation that your goat and fish will be counted every versus. Goat. Dragon Ball's goat. Celebration for goat. Crazy Awesome 55 verses of Crazy Awesome. And not one wasted on the fence. Crazy Awesome, goat or fish? Goat or fish? Why, yes, I can fix Amber Heard. Are you goat or are you fish? Goat today. Celebration goat. Crazy Awesome goat today. Goat are leading today. Perhaps as the Crazy Awesome goes, so does the congregation. We have 3 goat, 1 fish, and 1 goat for unification. The location looks quite secret indeed. Indeed. Who could possibly know? Who could possibly know? Scott from Canada, your location. Are you goat or are you fish? TML81 fish. Celebration for fish. Powerful fish. Powerful fish. With goat power comes goat responsibility. That's true. And with fish power comes fish responsibility. I think your neighbors need morning motivation. It's time to get loud. We think so too. Why don't you get loud, BBDH187? Time for you to get loud. Time for you to annoy your neighbors. So as goat versus fish, so goes the congregation. Laser focus. Yes, celebration for sunshine. We think sunshine might be watching us through the windows there. Trying to peek in beyond the impenetrable barrier that is protecting the secret of goat versus fish. Dragon Ball stomps on the fish. It's getting heated in here. The goat are already stomping on the fish. They're already stomping on fish. Fish, how do you respond? We'll make it written. First verses. Goat stomps on fish. That's the first verses. Goat. Stomp fish. You're missing the corona? There could be corona in the future of goat versus fish. There are ways. There are ways to attain coronas. BBDH187 assembles the fish navy. Second verses. Fish Navy. It was written. Hey, Padistador. Are you in prison? It's a secret. It's a secret. Padistador, are you goat or are you fish? Are you in prison? Make some noise if you're in prison. We wonder if there are those who have watched Goat vs. Fish from prison. Maybe, are they allowed to chat with Goat vs. Fish? Are they allowed to have conjugal visits with Goat vs. Fish? From behind the fence? Celebration for Fish, Petty Stidor. You have prison stories I can fix Amber Heard. We don't doubt it. We don't doubt it for a versus. We don't doubt it for a versus. BBD27 says, I'm in America, so yes, I'm in prison. We have heard some say that this entire planet is a prison. That alien fence creatures have imprisoned the goat and fish on planet Verse. We're not sure we believe it, but we have heard it. All the inmates are fence sitters. Every one, Fitzcraft. You don't think that there are some innocent goat and fish who have been thrown behind the fence? Dragomol spits back at fish. So goat stomps on fish. Fish form the navy. Third verses. Goat spits at fish. It's the third verses. Petty Sisor is I am for verses, not unification. And Petty Sidor, are you fish? You are usually fish. Yes, you are fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Ooh, Dragon Balls redeems a versus for fish. Fitzcraft redeemed a versus for fish. Is that so? Is that so? Does not say that to Goat versus Fish. Not that we don't believe you. What have we here? Analytics for Goat versus Fish. Oh, my verses. Oh, my verses. What have we here? Ooh, activity feed. Ah, so we see a versus for fish. 3 minutes ago, a versus for fish. And we have a show us your eyes as well. Okay, we've got a few verses to do here. A versus for fish. It has been written, a versus for fish. A versus for fish. And a goat versus fish eye reveal. Let's have a look. So this is a reflective versus like this, where we can see the reflection of goat versus fish. We can see in front of and beyond goat versus fish. We thought we would do that for secret experimentation, but now that we look at this, we could say, we could easily see how this could be goat versus fish. Where is the location of the tripod of goat versus fish? Secret. Secret location. A question. How did goats feel when Ironfoot's king, who the fence is that, sent in battle goats and ride upon them as they charge into the spear front line of the Mirkwood elves as the elves try to overtake Thorin for some elvish heirloom jewelry. Wasn't it made by Goat? At the front gates of Erebor in the Battle of the Five Armies. There were goats there. Well-trained goats, well-armored goats. Someone is snoring hard. They need a CPAP. Well, it's not medical advice from GoatVsFish, but maybe it's more just about the position. Maybe it's about sleeping position. GoatVsFish enjoys a nice quiet snooze. A well-breathing snooze. Battle goats. Battle goats. Once again, GoatVsFish is here for you, for your morning motivation. It's a tenuous verses in these secret locational motivationals. When we arrived, the secret location provided interwebs to GoatVsFish. But when we arise, after the rest of GoatVsFish, suddenly the interwebs are fence. Suddenly the interwebs are fence. And we have to rely upon the Verse Horizon connection that GoatVsFish has. But what if that went fence? If that went fence, then where would be the morning motivational of GoatVsFish? Would we have to just verse around the heat of Pheonix until we found some place? Perhaps we would. But then what would come of the 100th morning motivational of GoatVsFish? Still we wonder, still wonders the congregation. What of that 100th morning motivational of GoatVsFish? Starlink in your crown? Could be so. In any verses, I Can Fix Amber Heard did ask a legitimate question about goats and goats in battle. It's a fair question. You need to know your Lord of the Fence histories in order to answer such verses with any confidence. Brain-powered interwebiverse, yes, GoatVsFish. If GoatVsFish cannot reach you via the interwebiverse, then GoatVsFish will reach out to you psychically via meditation. Psychic meditation with GoatVsFish. Jess says, my spirit animal, vacation or vacation. Secret location. Secret vacational. Does this look like a vacation to you? Are you goat or fish? Is your spirit animal a goat or is it a fish? So some of you may remember the Freak City Motivational Extensional Yesterverses, where we had 3 guests. We had Cody, Nephew Cuban, and Nephew Nebraska Joe Dirt. The one sleeping back there is Nephew Cuban. And guess what, Goat and Fish? Guess what? Guess what? We'll give you 3 guesses. 3 guesses. It's time to play a game of guess. Guess the verses. Guess the secret verses. You're not on vacation. Well, it's still the morning motivational 98. If we think if GoatVsFish were on vacation, then would there be a morning motivational if it was a vacational for GoatVsFish? What, do you think this is all easy for GoatVsFish? 42? 93? These are all excellent guesses. Are you not on vacation? Jess says, my spirit animal, are you not on vacation now? Considering you were drinking at 8 a.m., yeah, you would say it's vacation, lol. Well, if that were true, then wouldn't every versus be vacation for you, I Can Fix Amber Heard? Wouldn't you be on vacation every versus if that were true? 42, not so. Not so. 42 is a bit too high. 93, a bit too high. Every day is a vacation if you love your occupation. We think that's fence. We think that's fence wisdom. We think that's fence wisdom. We think that is wisdom of the fence. Verses is still verses. Verses is still verses. You may love your verses, but it's still a verses. It's still verses. It may be a labor of goat, it may be a labor of fish. Every verse is a vacation if you love your verses. Well then, perhaps you would accept not being paid for your labor. I can fix Amber Heard. Perhaps we should refrain from paying you because you're just on vacation every verses. For those who love their verses, should they not be compensated for their labors just because they love their verses and that they're on vacation? Oh, you're on vacation. Well then. Oh, my verses. Oh, but do we have paid vacation? Oh, but we don't have that in Verse America. Fitzcraft drinks 24/7. Well, that explains many, many verses. Say you didn't get paid for goat versus fish. If there wasn't profit in it, would you do it? But that's a different verses. That's a different verses, I can fix Amber Heard. You may ask, say you didn't get paid for goat versus fish. If there wasn't profit in it, would you do it? First verses, goat versus fish is yet to make a profit. So goat versus fish, you already answered that verses. Though you all make many generous contributions to goat versus fish, and goat versus fish is very versatile for your contributions to goat versus fish. As goat versus fish aspires to be a profit, goat versus fish does not make a profit on goat versus fish. With all the investment made by goat versus fish into goat versus fish, we are yet to reach profit on goat versus fish. And the second verse is the question of, say you didn't get paid for goat versus fish, would you do it, is not the same verses as asking if goat versus fish is a labor and if goat versus fish is a vacation. So is goat versus fish a vacation as long as we're doing goat versus fish without compensation, but once we receive compensation, it's no longer a vacation for goat versus fish? That seems like a very strange verses. Non-profit profit. 501c3 non-profit profit. Typical fence hitter, I can fix Amber Heard, is shifting the fence posts mid-conversation. Verse they say, if you love it, it is not work, and you're always on vacation. Now they're asking goat versus fish about the profit of goat versus fish. But I can fix Amber Heard. Yes, you tell the ones who labor for you. You tell them, do you love what you do? And if they say yes, you say, then you're on vacation. Sounds like you would do it for no profit. Sounds like you don't need to be paid. Is that how you feel about goat versus fish? That it's just a constant vacation for goat versus fish? Is that how you feel, I can fix Amber Heard? That it's all just one big vacation for goat versus fish? Anything is a grind if you do it every day, says Lucid Nap. That's one way to verse about it. It's a dedicational. It's a serious verses. Thinks CPA can testify to be on vacation while goat versus fish works tirelessly. The CPA is often on vacation. Perhaps if they wish to be paid, they could be on less vacation, doing a bit more labor for goat versus fish. The many labors of goat versus fish. However, perhaps a vacation of goat versus fish is in order. Perhaps a vacation of goat versus fish is in order. I can fix Amber Heard is caught on the fence. Their speakings are getting longer to goat versus fish. I do a lot of free work for show. You mean the Goat vs. Fish show? What I feel about Goat vs. Fish is that I see a guy who is building something he loves, yet, yes, it is work. Work doesn't mean you're unhappy, though. Goat vs. Fish never said that versus. We simply mean to insist that just because we love Goat vs. Fish does not mean it's a vacation for Goat vs. Fish. We are contesting your verses that if you love what you do, then every versus is a vacation. We're contesting that versus. We may speak about any number of verses, but Goat vs. Fish contests that versus. If you love what you do and be able to get to do what you do in a system society has built for you, I say you're in damn good shoes, but you can have the nicest of all shoes and still not be on vacation. Does nice shoes make a vacation? But maybe Goat vs. Fish does deserve versus a vacation. Maybe Goat vs. Fish deserve versus a vacation. You would say so? You would say so? Well, when Goat vs. Fish has done 100 morning motivations, you can just tell Goat vs. Fish, hey, how have you enjoyed your 100 stream vacation, Goat vs. Fish? How have you enjoyed spending your verses, spending 6 hours driving to and from Micro Center to replace a computer that they sold you that was fence? How was that? Was that what you were planning for on your vacation, Goat vs. Fish? You're fencing around. You're fencing around. Well, do you not enjoy it? I can fix Amber Heard. That's not the verses. That's not the verses. You said unto Goat vs. Fish that if you love what you do, that it is a vacation. And Goat vs. Fish says that's fence. You asking if Goat vs. Fish enjoys Goat vs. Fish, that's entirely besides the verses. And we do enjoy Goat vs. Fish. Laser Focus hasn't been on vacation for over a Goatfish year. For over a revolution, you have not been on vacation. These are the tidings. These are fence times indeed. Let Bird vs. Bear take over as a guest host for a versus. Let Bird vs. Bear take over? That doesn't seem like a true versus. If we let Bird vs. Bear take over, then is it really a takeover? 30 minutes. All right, Ryan Walterson, welcome back to Goat vs. Fish. It has been so long since we have seen your arrival declarations, always declaring when it is that you arrive. Ryan Walterson, welcome back to Goat vs. Fish. How has been the Ryan Walterson? Are you goat or are you fish? Do you seek verses? Do you seek unification? Do you have a secret location? Oh, Goat vs. Fish does not keep Bird vs. Bear in a cage. They are free to roam around and hopefully to choose goat or fish one of these verses. Goat had a busy, productive year. Well, that is a celebration. Tell us of your accomplishments, Ryan Walterson. Tell us of your productivity on Goat vs. Fish. But maybe we do. Maybe Goat vs. Fish deserve versus a vacation. Maybe this should become a Goat vs. Fish sleep stream. Maybe this should become a Goat vs. Fish sleep stream. And you just watch Goat vs. Fish sleep for the whole morning motivational. What about that? I can fix Amber Heard typing furiously at Goat vs. Fish. Typing furiously at Goat vs. Fish. Vacation ain't really about doing nothing. Goat and fish go on vacation to get away from stuff they hate and do stuff they enjoy. Oh, truly so? To get away from things they hate? Well, what about a goat and fish who are in a forced unification? And there's no love no longer between the goat and fish, but they go on vacation anyway, and they just have to be with one another, even though they hate one another. Does not sound pleasant, but surely it happens. Surely it's been known to happen. Goat versus Fish suspects there have been many vacations where you bring the thing you hate most right there along with you, hoping that the vacation will somehow bring a loving unification between the goat and fish as the hate festers between them. If you actually love what you do, then most days you are already spending time doing something you want to do. But that doesn't verse it a vacation, though. Just because you are doing what you want to do does not versus that it is a vacation. We think your mind has been fence-washed by fensitilism. We think your verses are just fence-washed by fensitilism. Prism Bloom, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. I thought I didn't receive my t-shirt, but just found it in one of my mail carrier's bags just now. Celebration! Prism Bloom has received the shirt of Goat vs. Fish. The merch has been sent to you. Prism Bloom, are you goat or are you fish? Well, we are pleased you are enjoying the conversation. Spoonman, are you goat or fish? Ryan Walterson has been doing weekly film reviews for multiple papers for almost 3 years. Well, that is a celebration. Ryan Walterson, what is your most recent film review? Tell us. Can you give us a little verses? Can you just provide a little verses of one of your film reviews here in Goat vs. Fish? We will read it with a voice of authoritarianism. Dragamalls325. Giving some witty repartee to I Can Fix Amber Heard. If you're enjoying the convo, doesn't that mean you're on vacation? JKJK? Also planning on different summer travels? What is going to be your secret location? Every stream is a vacation with Goat vs. Fish. Well, we are pleased if you feel that every stream is a vacation for you, if that is what you wish to do. Goat vs. Fish is pleased to provide you with a vacation. But how can you be on vacation if you're still just sitting on that fence? Perhaps the fence is a vacation for I Can Fix Amber Heard. Maybe when I Can Fix Amber Heard isn't on the streams, they are being a diligent goat. They are being a hard-versing fish. And then they say, you know what? I'm going to come on Goat vs. Fish. I'm just going to sit on the fence because I'm a goat or fish every other versus. Perhaps there are some fence-sitters who presentation themselves as fence-sitters to Goat vs. Fish, but only because they take the opportunity in conversation with Goat vs. Fish to defy Goat vs. Fish. They want to defy Goat vs. Fish because then they have to go out into the universe and be a hard-versing goat and be a hard-versing fish. And they say, why can't I just sit on the fence all verses? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go right up to Goat vs. Fish. I'm going to say, you know what, Goat vs. Fish? I'm on the fence, Goat vs. Fish. You can't ask me if I'm goat or fish. I'm on the fence. They enjoy their petulant little defiance of Goat vs. Fish, and then they go back into the universe, and they just keep on versing. Spoonman, you are saying something to Goat vs. Fish that looks somewhat metal, but we cannot perceive what it says. Prism Bloom says, I know this guy that does marbles on stream and just has a group of like 300 goats. That's why I haven't brought you up to him. But I really should. The community would vibe in here. We know that. We know that goat. That is... Which verses is that? Tony Blacks? Is that the Tony Blacks goat? We think they might remember Goat vs. Fish, if that is the goat that we think it might be. Prism Bloom is always fish. Celebration for fish. Fish, 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 fish. Saw Toy Story 5 last week and found it a worthy continuation. A worthy continuation. Where's the Goat vs. Fish action figures? I Can Fix Amber Heard is up there smoking a cigar, swaying their feet on the fence. Oh my, what the, oh, Goat vs. Fish. Blackstone 514. Blackstone, oh, irradiation? Oh, it's all happening on Goat vs. Fish. Activity feed. Blackstone 514 with 3 gifted verses. Kraz Club with a radiation of 7. I'm a teacup. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. I'm a teacup. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Did we see you getting tattooed? I'm a teacup. Celebration. I'm a teacup. Are you goat or are you fish? We're here from a secret location in Pheonix. Are you a fish? Kraz Club. Are you a fish? Blackstone 514 with 3 gifted verses. I'm a teacup goat. I'm a teacup goat. Your goat has been counted. Your goat has been counted. Blackstone 514. You indeed see me getting some ink. Prism Bloom with 100 for fish. Oh, my verses. So we have 500. 500 for goat. 500 for goat. 3 subs for goat. $100 for fish from Prism Bloom. 100 for fish. 500 for goat. Radiation for fish. Radiation for fish, and that's seven radiation points for fish. 7 for fish. Seven for fish. Radiation for fish. It's a level 2 hype. It's hype level 2. BBH 27 with 100 for fish. 100 for fish. That's 200 for fish. 200 for fish. 500 for goat. 3 Blackstone subscriptions for the fish. 2 versus the goat. We say they're for the fish only because once the goat have the 3 gifted verses, then the fish are like, big meaty goat. Prism Bloom with 5 gifted verses. 5 gifted verses for fish. Five for the fish. Take that, Blackstone. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Level 3 hype. It's Sunshine. It's Sunshine has received a gifted verses. It's Sunshine. Are you goat or are you fish? Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Prism Bloom appreciation. Wiener PvP. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Look at everyone thanking everyone for the gifted subscriptions. What a beautiful celebration. What a beautiful celebration. Laser focus appreciation. Yes, we can have a shout outs all about. Follow I'm a Teacup. Follow Kraz Club. Hotel. Welcome to Hotel Goat vs. Fish. Such a lovely verse. Blackstone 514. I gifted 3 and I resubbed for goat. And 500 verses. Oh, Goat vs. Fish. 500 verses. Oh, my verses were you receiving a low battery warning on Goat vs. Fish. Oh no. Oh no. 500 for goat. $1,000 celebration. I Can Fix Amber Heard once follows these verses. Okay, you can follow I Can Fix Amber Heard too. Appreciation and a resubscription for goat. That's 4 verses for goat. Okay, Goat vs. Fish. We are receiving notification that we have low power mode on Goat vs. Fish. Goat versus Fish is going to attempt a modification. You wait here. Goat versus Fish has entered low power mode. Do you still perceive Goat versus Fish? Do you still perceive Goat versus Fish? Yes, we think that all of the pokes may be directed towards Sunshine. So perhaps if Sunshine tries to poke someone back, then they will just end up poking themselves again. Let's have a look. Do we have perception now? We have some number of bits. 1 bit from Blackstone 514. Appreciation. Appreciation. That's 1 bit. That's 1 Blackstone bit. Grass Club Fish. Ham Mods is here to versus. Are you goat or are you fish? Sunshine, are you goat or fish? But it says be right back. 1001 from Blackstone 514. For the goat. I am fish, says Ham Mods versusing. We have, in the verses, we now have 4 goat, 5 goat. We have 5 goat, 1001 bits for goat, 4 subscriptions for goat, 1 goat for unification. It's Sunshine is fish too. It's Sunshine, do you seek unification or do you seek verses? And we have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, 7 fish, 7 radiation points for fish, a verses for fish, 200 bits for fish, and 5 subscription for fish. Fish currently leading, but goat do have a versus with 1001 to 200 bits. 4 subscriptions for goat, 5 for fish. We must continue to increase the brightness on goat versus fish. Now, of course, there is a versus that can be done. Goat versus Fish could unplug the mighty Goat versus Fish amplification device, but maybe we'll wait. Maybe we'll wait until we have less than 10% power before we unplug the Goat versus Fish amplification device. Fish, fish, New Vegas fish. Trust red herring fish. Red herring has fish in the name, so that's a bonus fish. Red herring, how does it feel to be so untrusted? Many, they speak of red herrings. Sunshine went to poke Prism Bloom. And it said, it's Sunshine poked Sunshine. When we made the command, it was only to poke Sunshine. But perhaps that you wish that to be changed. It happened again. Crazy Awesome redeemed a versus for Goat. A versus for Goat. Goat now have 2 verses, 1001 bits and a versus. Fish have the verses of Domination with more fish than Goat. A redeemed verses. Fish have 4 verses, 7 radiation points, 5 subscription. Goat can take a versus from Fish with 2 more subscriptions for Goat. And Goat can turn the verses with 2 more subscriptions for Goat. Are you speaking in poems, says Spooky Start. Are you speaking in poems? That's an interesting versus. Ones in the congregation if Goat versus Fish is speaking in poems. Twos if Goat versus Fish is speaking in prose. And Sunshine has a story to tell. There once was a fence sitter, a strange enchanted fence sitter. It wandered very far over land and sea. We have Dragon Ball's ham mods, and thank you, Mikezilla. Oh, Mikezilla, are you the Mikezilla? Are you the very Mikezilla that performed at Freak Central? I spates out. What's happening? Goat versus Fish is on vacation. Oh, we mean Goat versus Fish is in a secret location. Spooky Start, are you a goat or are you a fish? It's me. Hey, me. Nebraska Joe Dirt, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Nebraska Joe Dirt, the fish. Mikezilla with much appreciation. Mikezilla, do you stream here on Twitch? Many here are creators on Goat vs. Fish. We wish we could shout you all out. You should just all follow one another. Nebraska Joe Dirt should follow I'm a Teacup, who should follow Thank You, Mikezilla. We like that versus Thank You, Mikezilla, because you should always thank Goat vs. Fish. And we appreciate you saying thank you to Goat vs. Fish every time you enter the verses. Every time you speak to Goat vs. Fish, you're saying thank you to Goat vs. Fish. We much appreciate this. And the thanks you have to Goat vs. Fish is returned to you. Thank you, Mikezilla, for thanking Goat vs. Fish. Getting my aquarium cleaned, getting all the fence mites out of there. Sunshine, we did not know you had an aquarium. That's very nice. But perhaps that's just where you rest, given that you are fish. Yeah, I stream a show called Mike's House Party Satterverses 10 p.m. Well, if you want to go to Mike's House Party on Satterverses at 10 p.m. PST, then go and follow Thank You, Mikezilla. These are nice t-shirts. Thank you, Goat vs. Fish. Always thank Goat vs. Fish. Exclamation merch if you wish to purchase a shirt of Goat vs. Fish. My apartment is the aquarium. Yes, Sunshine. Now we're versing. Freak City was a true meeting of the minds. A meeting of the minds and a meeting of the behinds. And we have Cosmic Teacup. We have I'm a Teacup, and we have Cosmic Teacup. Cosmic Teacup, are you Goat or are you Fish? It was great to meet you. It's great to have you here, supporting Goat vs. Fish. It is great to have you all here supporting Goat vs. Fish. It means very much to Goat vs. Fish. I am Fish, Cosmic Fish. But the Freak verses may continue, so Goat vs. Fish on one versus. Do we return to Los Angeles in preparation for the 100th morning motivational temple stream, as was foretold by Goat vs. Fish? Or do we let the fence fires burn in Los Angeles as they continue to do so, with 85 million pounds of rotting corpses of roast beast and even some goat and fish? Well, you think this is an exaggeration? No. Appreciation subscription. Nebraska Joe Dirt with a subscription to Goat vs. Fish. Nebraska Joe Dirt with a subscription for Goat vs. Fish. 6 subscriptions for Fish. But there was a secret verses we wanted you to guess. There was a secret verses we wanted. We do need Sunshine for the 100th verses. This is true. Secret verses. The secret verses is that this very celebration is Cuban Beats Verse Day. It's Cuban Beats 32nd Verse Day. And Cuban Beat is resting just back there, providing delightful snores in the background of Goat vs. Fish. It's Cuban Beats Verse Day today, and let's get some celebrations. As Cuban Beat put it yesterverses, they said in 33 minutes, I will have verses around the sun 32 times. And so they did. And so they did. Happy birthday, Sleepy Goat or Fish. Cuban Beat is definitely Fish. Definitely Fish. Definitely Fish. Celebrating. Definitely Fish. And Cuban said, very like a fish, said, for my birthday, I want to eat fish. I want to go out and eat fish. Prism Blue with the gifted verses to Dragon Balls 325. The gifted verses to Dragon Balls 325. And it was written. And it was written. Prism Bloom giving Blackstone 514 a verses upon verses upon verses. It's rare, Prism Bloom. Blackstone 514 is a mighty goat. Versus hard. Rarely meets a challenger. But here we have Prism Bloom. Versing indeed. Blackstone taking the bits. Prism Bloom taking the subscriptions. Asymmetrical verse fair. The notebook dies. Oh, we're keeping track of every single verses. Prism Bloom, how do you versus the goat? So far we have the goat stomped on the fish. The fish formed a navy. Then the goat spit on the fish. How do you respond? How do you respond? How do you respond? It's too cute. It's cute and it's portable for Goat vs. Fish. Cute and affordable for Goat vs. Fish. Cute and functional for Goat vs. Fish. It's time for our morning celebrations. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Get moving. Get moving with Goat versus Fish. Get moving. Get moving with Goat versus Fish. 10% power. One dip for each percent. Ones. Twos. Threes. Fours. Fives. Sixes. Sevens. Eights. Nines. Tens. Ooh, feeling strong this versus. Feeling well rested this versus. I never back away from a versus, especially with a worthy opponent. Fish is sleeping. The goat must wake it. So Prism Bloom says, doesn't back away. Fish doesn't back away. And so we have goat stomps on the fish. Fish forms a navy. Goat spits on fish. Fish doesn't back away. We are feeling so strong. We're going to do an extra 10. We're going to do an extra 10. One. Twos. Threes. Fours. Fives. Sixes. Sevens. Eights. Nines. Tens. Oh, yes. Double strong goat versus fish. Is fish laying belly signed up? Check the vitals. Oh, they're making noise. They're getting inhalation to goat versus fish. We know you are concerned. So we have less than 10% power here on goat versus fish. The power is waning on goat versus fish. So maybe we should take a vacation. Maybe we have a 1 hour morning motivational stream of goat versus fish, and that's the whole versus. But we wish to information you, goat and fish. Nah, we were promised 2 hours. As you wish. But first, let us information you that Goat versus Fish has been invitationed to Seafood Vsday Party with Cuban Beat and to join Goat versus Fish, to join the Uncle Joe Show on a stream this Tuesday versus. So this seems like an opportunity that should be versus by Goat versus Fish. So Goat versus Fish may be joining Cuban Beat and Heg Pets on the Uncle Joe Show tonight for a versus. What do you think about that? So shout out to the Uncle Joe Show for another versus of invitation to Goat versus Fish. Why should Goat versus Fish deny you the chance to witness Goat versus Fish on the Uncle Joe Show? Isn't that something that you wish? Seems like it is. So here's what may need to happen, Goat and Fish. We may need to change the audio on Goat versus Fish, so you're no longer hearing this verses, but you're hearing a different verses. Or we could change devices to a part 2, but then we might lose some of you. Which we don't want to do. So first we'll try changing the audio on Goat versus Fish, so we can plug in the charging for Goat versus Fish. So here we have the Goat versus Fish external power. Behold the power of Goat versus Fish. And now the audio may change drastically. Behold, the audio may have changed drastically. It probably does not sound as verses now. But can you hear Goat versus Fish? Well, this might just be what you get now. This might just be what you get now. You're slightly more echoey, but coming through. Yes, we suppose we are. But we're coming through to you. So that's what we'll do, and that's what we'll do. Yaki Tais Sakuna, we believe it is Yagi Tai Sakana. The echoiness of Goat versus Fish. The echoing is just the angelic voice of Goat versus Fish. The angelic voice, the demonic voice. Hammond says, I'm sorry to say that I missed the Freak City streams here on Goat versus Fish. And Uncle Joe. But how would you describe what Freak City is about? What exactly is it? Lewdness and beer. There are these things. There are these things and less. Freak City is a gathering of the nephews of the Uncle Joe Show. Freak City is a place where Goat versus Fish is free to be as freaky as they wish to be. Goat versus Fish. There's often debaucherous consumption and inebriation at Freak City, though it is not required for participation. Freak City welcomes freaks of all kinds of verses. You do not need to partake in any particular form of consumption other than that of the enjoyment of the company of your fellow goat and fish. However, shirts may be removed at any time. It is a celebration of a big party on the internet that never stops. It is a celebration of cash that you could win for free. It is a celebration of those who are far apart coming together for the Uncle Joe Show's Mighty Birthday celebration. Coming together in one place, in congregation, sometimes in the pool, sometimes on the land. But just how every verse contains within it, if it is true, goat versus fish. It is about the congregation. It is about bringing together. It is about coming together in celebration. It's about coming together in celebration and unification. Appreciation for Lord Saturn with Hearing the Snoring, indeed. A subscription, 4 months of subscription to Goat versus Fish. That's one more subscription for Goat. We have 5 subscriptions for Goat. 7 subscriptions for Fish. Sounds like a great time? Yes, it does indeed. Yes, it does indeed. It happens every verses. It happens every verses. Yes, you can watch on the Uncle Joe Show. You can watch previous Freak streams. Perhaps there may be some mutations because there was a large karaoke fest. But you will definitely be able to see some Goat versus Fish. And you may be able to see some Goat versus Fish tonight if you watch Goat versus Fish on the Uncle Joe Show tonight. But we wonder what you would do. We wonder what you would do. Would you return immediately to Los Angeles in preparation for the 100th morning motivational celebrational in the Temple of Goat versus Fish to ensure more preparations, or would you take a risk, stay another verses in Arizona, join the Uncle Joe Show in Cuban Beat for the Cuban Beat birthday, the Uncle Joe Show gambling stream on Twitch, and then return to Los Angeles? What would you do? Hammond says, I'll tune in tonight. That, says Crazy Awesome. Is this a serious question? My honest opinion, no, I'd stay for Uncle Joe. I vote stay, says Hammond. You won't be back this way for a while. It is also a chance to spread the verses of Goat versus Fish. There will be many watching the Uncle Joe Show, though they are already quite familiar with Goat versus Fish. They may be able to get a little bonus verses. Just like Mike Zilla, Cosmic Teacup, and I'm a Teacup all joined Goat versus Fish this versus. Get your freak on, yo. It's Crazy Awesome. Well, it seems the congregation has made their verses heard. They want Goat versus Fish to continue freaking with the Uncle Joe Show. Well, in that verses, all we ask of you is that if you are able, that you watch the Uncle Joe Show tonight on Twitch. A shout out to the Uncle Joe Show, where you will be able to see the vacationing Michael Allen CPA on the Uncle Joe Show, and perhaps some appearances by Goat versus Fish. A celebration for the verses. We have not received much confirmation for those who are coming to the 100th celebrational from out of verses, though there's not been as much promotion by Goat versus Fish. We have been just so occupied building the studio of Goat versus Fish that we have not sent out many invitations, apart from here on the living streams of Goat versus Fish, of course. Many wish they could. Many wish they could. I wish I could, but we'll be tuning in for sure. Yes, please tune in. Please tune in. Well then, Goat versus Fish shall stay. And it was written that Goat versus Fish would stay for The Uncle Joe Show living stream as the Freak City celebrations continue. That's what happened. That's what happened when you celebration with the Uncle Joe Show. It's a celebration every verses. It's a big, inebrious celebration every verses. And the verses just keep on going. Celebration for Goat versus Fish. What's the longest celebration you have ever versed? Tell us about the longest celebration you ever versed. But I'm still open to coming down for a show if that's still versable. On a planned event, I would only have time to show up for a day and then leave that night. However, well, you would be welcome to do this. If that is how it must be. Is Goat versus Fish feeling okay after a must celebration? Well, we did get some rest of Goat versus Fish. We just got some rest of Goat versus Fish. And between you and Goat versus Fish, after this morning motivational of Goat versus Fish, we may rest some more. We may rest even more. We were even pondering doing a Goat versus Fish sleep stream. Changing it to a Goat versus Fish sleep stream. I'm only sleeping stream. Morning motivational sleeping stream. Watch the innocent Goat versus Fish resting and sleeping and wonder, what are they dreaming about? Are they dreaming about goat? Are they dreaming about fish? I celebration for a few days once I was a younger fish back then. They do seem to say that the younger that you are, the longer you can do a celebration. But Goat versus Fish insists Goat versus Fish could be 1 billion verses old. We'll still be able to continue that celebration. I do wish to be their VIP motivational. It would be great for the 100th verses. That is my son's birthday weekend, so I can't go, otherwise I would. Well, you can message Goat versus Fish any verses. Any of you can message Goat versus Fish any verses that you wish. Only time I celebration for a whole week straight is at Hell's Heroes. In November, I'm headed to Canada for NWN show. That is a long verses. So who is desiring of motivation? Goat versus Fish is here to provide you motivational. Sometimes we give you a motivational speech in its most grandest form for all verses. But we also wonder if there is something particular going on in your universe for which you seek motivation. Hey, Goat versus Fish, I'm trying a new verses. Yet I am sitting on the fence. Please help. Something like this. So we invitation you all now to speak to Goat versus Fish, to chat with Goat versus Fish. And we appreciation your glorious support from Blackstone 514 and Prism Bloom and Lord Saturn. Appreciation. And for all of those viewing in the congregation of Goat versus Fish. But now is your chance to ask a question to Goat versus Fish. Seeking motivations. For those of you seeking motivations, please, in the congregation, we wish to provide the motivation to you. So please share with us that for which you seek motivation. And in responding to you, we will respond to the entire congregation. We'll get to hear, he will get to hear, and perhaps learn something of their own. What's a good time to fly down? Would mid-August work? That's not really a motivational type question to Goat versus Fish. That's more of a logistical question to Goat versus Fish. And the logistical questions to Goat versus Fish would best be verses in conversations outside of the living stream of Goat versus Fish. questions related to the motivation. We are asking for questions for which you seek motivation. What's going on in your universe? What's going on in your life? Are you a goat? Are you versing a fish? Are you having difficulty versing that fish? Are you a fish? Are you seeking a goat? Are you wandering around the universe seeking a goat to versus, but you have not found the goat? Or perhaps you've just been sitting on a fence. You want to get off the fence, but you just don't know how. There are many ways for which you may seek motivation from Goat versus Fish. We are here to provide it for you. J-Stick says, I'm versing a fish. You're versing a fish? A celebration for Goat. Celebration for Goat. Well, if that is all you're going to tell Goat versus Fish, and it's a beautiful thing to say that you're versing a fish, first we say celebration. Celebration for versing a fish. Celebration for versing a fish. You've done the difficult verses. You've chosen Goat. You're versing a fish. Now you're in Goat versus Fish. Always thank Goat versus Fish. And without any further verses with which to provide you motivation, we'll simply tell you to keep on versing. Keep on versing. Keep on versing. And you may be versing that goat, and you may at some verses in the future find that there's another goat that needs versing. Then go versus that goat. And you may wish to return to versus the current goat again. You may indeed. You may indeed. But so long as the verses come from within you, then the verses are true. And you can find motivation for continuation. You may find that there are verses when you lack the motivation to versus the goat. And we recommendation that this happens, this can happen to fish, this can happen to goat. So if you're a goat and you're versing a fish and you lack the motivation, we recommendation that you just versus the fish anyway, even without the motivation. Versus the fish, see how you feel about it. Now, if you have chronic lack of motivation, every verses, there's no motivation to versus the fish, every verses, then there may be some cause for consternation and concern. But if just on one verses here and there, you're not feeling motivation to versus the fish, your recommendation that you do not depend upon your motivation to versus the fish. You simply versus the fish. You may find motivation to versus the fish as you are versing. You may find a new aspect of the fish as you versus. Or you could try versing the fish in a different way. Some experimentation can always do wonders for motivation. Paul Pear Fish, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Paul Pear, welcome back. Paul Pear, glorious streamer here on Twitch. Worthy of a follow, worthy of Goat versus Fish, celebration for fish. You've been lacking verses lately, Some say it takes two to verses. Is that true? Let's see here. How does one rise from one's slumber? How does one rise from one's slumber? Are you speaking of yourself, or are you speaking of Cuban beat the snoring fish? Is your parents goat or fish? Goat versus fish. Why, you are the parents of Goat versus Fish. You gave birth to Goat versus Fish. Every verse is you're giving birth to Goat versus Fish. Parents for Goat versus Fish. What a referentialist proposition. Some say it takes two to verses. Is this true? It is true that a true verses is a two verses. A true verses is between a goat and a fish. This. And one can perceive this as being a goat and fish. But we also know that the first verses that one contends with in Goat versus Fish, one could be said that the first verses one contends with is the universe itself. Suddenly you find yourself awake with consciousness in the universe, and suddenly it's Goat versus Fish. already you're contending with goat versus fish, you're perceiving goat versus fish, you're dealing with goat versus fish when you don't even know that it's goat versus fish, you don't even understand it's goat versus fish, but there you are. But the next verses, a simultaneous verses, is of course the verses within, and the verses within receives its truest activation when you ask the one true question, are you goat or are you fish? So when we speak of the verses within, we are speaking of you. And if it's just you, then does that mean that it's not two? If it's just you, having a goat and fish versing within yourself, can one contain aspects of both goat and fish? And if so, are they not one but two? Some might verses that there are two yous. That there's a goat you and there's a fish you, and that they are vying for dominance in any given verses, and that once you choose goat or fish, then that verses of yourself, then you become fully goat or you become fully fish, and then there are no longer two yous because you are no longer on the fence. The fence sitter likes to suppose that there are two of themselves. Of course, the fence sitter, being very full of themselves, wishes there were more of themselves. The fence sitter may say, I am on the goat side and I am on the fish side in the same verses. The fence sitter will take up two distinct positions in argumentation with you and claim that you, in order to triumph, must refute two contradictory positions. This is, of course, defenseless. But that's the fancy fence sitter's way. So does it take two to verses? Goat versus fish will say yes, it does take two to verses. It does take two to verses. But they may be a distinct goat and fish, or they may be different aspects of one versus. One versus in conflict with itself can still be a true versus indeed, a versus that needs resolution. Paul Pearfish was snoring Cuban fish out late last verses. Well, we got to rest and relaxation around 2:30, we might say. DJ Pasty Goat, celebration for Goat. Celebration for Goat. Your goat has been written. Tracy Awesome is versing a celebration, needs to plan celebration on the 4th. Oh, the 4th. Oh, the Freedom and Liberty celebration. Oh, we've heard of that. Have you heard about all of this reflecting pool? Like, they're trying to make it for beautification, and they're just destroying fish habitat? You may say, well, there were never fish in the reflecting pool. Well, that's exactly our verses. Where's the fish? In all cases, how can one rise from slumber? Thank you, Mike Zilla, for this question to goat versus fish. We also wish to answer Paul Pear's verses, but in all cases, how can one rise from slumber? Well, one of these verses, you won't. One of these verses, you won't rise from your slumber, and you will just be sleeping for a very long verses. So, we must be grateful and verseful that we have the gift of rising every verses, to try something new, to rediscover you, to see what it is out there in the universe that awaits. You may say you are bored by what the universe has to offer you. Well, you could try going to a different place. You may say, but goat versus fish, there are many verses to consider. There are kids and spouses and financializations and all of these verses. There's no place for exploration, there's no time, there's no space for exploration. Goat versus fish, sympathization to you, of course. But you must recall that eventually you may be taken by the false fence sitter known as Ghost versus Flesh. And once your verses are done, then there really won't be any verses for you to enjoy. Once your verses are done, you may find yourself wishing to be there, lying in bed, feeling dread, not knowing how to rise. So just know this, that when you are lying in bed, not knowing how to rise, this is merely the first verses of the day. It's merely the first verses of the day. And know that when you lay there and you are in conflict with yourself, feeling on one verses that you could rise, feeling on one verses that you could stay, Goat versus Fish would say, if you wish to rest more, then rest again, If you wish to rise, then rise. But to lay there on the fence, in conflict with yourself, guilty for not resting, guilty for not rising, you will find that the verses are superior if you simply rise or you rest. Goat or fish? Mike Zilla, goat or fish? And if you're going to feel dread for that you must rise soon, well, you can avoid that dread by rising now, and then you won't have to worry that you need to rise soon because you will have already done it. And now you can take on the next verses, and the next verses, and the next verses. But often here in the Motivational, we will tell you, if you seek motivation to rise, surprise, you may not need motivation to rise. You could just rise in spite of the lack of motivation. You could say, hey, motivation, I'm going to rise without you. I don't need you. Grasping for the motivation out there when really it simply comes from within you. It is a commitment you make to yourself. And when you honor your commitments to yourself, then you will start to trust yourself and you will believe in yourself. If you cannot honor your commitments to yourself, well, that's just a fancy proposition, isn't it? Well, here's a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how great is I Can Fix Amber Heard at versing? 2? I'll give you a 2. Because you have been goat and fish before. And when you did engage in some mighty verses. 1 is the best. Well, that's just the fence sitter just reversing the verses on Goat versus Fish as always. Well, if this question is just a way to try to fence around with Goat versus Fish, then Goat versus Fish has no particular interest in trying to answer a question for which you're just going to shift the fence posts around on Goat versus Fish. Life is a celebration, thankfully, for every verses. Paul Pear, if you're still there, was the majority of Freak City goat or fish? Fish. Freak City was majority fish. And we also asked the goat and fish there, who's freakier, the goat or the fish? And fish won unanimously. There was unanimous agreement among both goat and fish that fish was freakier than goat. So we have to give Freak City to the fish. Got to give it to fish. Paul Pear has been lacking verses lately. Well, if you've been lacking verses lately, then you have done yourself a great celebration by coming here to Goat versus Fish. Oh, someone's risen. They are risen. They are risen. Oh, my verses. Mike Zilla wondered, how do you rise? Immediate inebriation consumption? Yes. Oh, that's just a hydration?
The hydration.
Hey, guess what? Hey, shirtless incoming.
You must rise with motivation.
Hey, guess what? Hey, guess what, Cuban? Mighty birthday to you. Mighty birthday to you. Mighty birthday, dear Cuban. Mighty birthday to you. How do you like that?
Thank you. Oh. We did not bring any water. Damn.
That's why we've been enjoying this glorious liquefied. Here,
Oh.
do you wish some of this?
Yeah.
It's watered down just for your hydration. Yes. Mmm.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Is it this birthday? Yes, 32 million years old now.
32 verses around the sun.
32 verses around the sun.
32 verses around the sun.
32 verses around the sun. Happy birthday, everyone here. You're getting Mike Zilla is wishing you a birthday. I Can Fix Amber Heard is wishing you a happy birthday. You've got celebrations. You heard first day. Well, is not your birthday your first day and your verse today in the same verses? It sort of is your first day, isn't it? It's a celebration of your first day. It's your verse today. This GoatVsFish works on many levels. Infinite Skyline, thirsty verses. Infinite Skyline, are you goat or are you fish? Cuban, we share a first day.
We share.
Mike Zilla, is it your verse day too, Mike Zilla? It's your verse day too. We're going to give Cuban a little bit of privacy lest you receive a form of ASMR that might not be truly to your liking.
It is also Umos's.
Is Umos's verse day? This verses?
Oh yes.
It's everyone's verse day.
Everyone's and Randy Jackson's first.
And Randy Jackson's verse day. Okay, secret reveals. Secret reveals. Time for secret revelations on GoatVsFish. We said what the fence is going on here. Let GoatVsFish out. Let out GoatVsFish. Oh well, we're stuck in here forever. Oh, it's a fence. Let's get our tan on. GoatVsFish live streaming in 105 degrees in Arizona. No, thank you. Perhaps not. Perhaps not.
Ugh. I think I'm gonna go get a water bottle over here.
Oh yeah?
A couple of them.
Yes.
Once I find the verses.
Find them you shall. Find them you shall.
Maybe 2, 3, or 4 verses. George Washington verses.
George Washington.
Isn't he on the one? Which verses is it? Is the one? We will find out shortly.
Okay.
Once I find my piece of leather. Oh.
Well, Mike Zilla, mighty birthday to you, Mike Zilla. Congratulations and celebration. Prism Bloom wants coconut water, pineapple, mix it up, mix lime, limeade, elixir of life. Well, if you happen to find coconut water, pineapple, and limeade, then get that too, but otherwise we'll just take a standard hydration.
That sounds good.
So Paul Pear. High is 110 this versus, oh no. So Paul Pear, you say you've been lacking verses. Well, we say unto you, you've come to a true place. You've come to the true place. If you're lacking verses these days, and well, you're here now with Goat versus Fish. So you've done the first verses. You've sought out Goat versus Fish. Mike Zillow with a loving fish. Armored fish. Loving armored fish. Lancelot fish. I'm gonna steal your fish.
Steal your fish.
You appreciate the verses here always, yes. Well, the first thing to remember if you are feeling a lack of verses, you may be tempted to blame yourself for your lack of verses. Goat versus Fish would recommendation that you don't blame yourself for a lack of verses. If you do, you may simply find yourself feeling not worthy of verses. You are already feeling fancy for lack of verses, but then if you blame yourself for the lack of verses, then you may just feel fancier again and again. Now perhaps there is something you could do to improve your verses. There always are. There are always ways for you to improve your verses. But it does not require blame. It simply requires taking responsibility for your own verses. To say, this is the way in which I am repeatedly poking myself with fences, and this is a goat I can versus, and this is a fish. Perhaps, as is often the verses, many goat and fish wish to strengthen themselves. They wish to exercise so that they can better and more confidently versus. Sometimes a goat and fish wish to engage in less indulgent consumptions. These are very common verses you may find. Perhaps there is something you are consuming you want to consume less of. Perhaps there is some verse you wish to be doing, some skill you wish to be improving. There are many things you may wish that you were doing. Many verses you may wish that you were doing. But if you simply obsess, the light behind Goat versus Fish, if you simply obsess over the verses that you're not doing them, these can be wasted verses. Instead, you could just do them instead, or you could do something else. If you are finding a lack of verses, perhaps, and you have been a fish, you could even do something very extreme and you could go goat. If you are finding that you are not finding a fish to verses, you could just go. You could go goat if you are goat, and then you could find the fish to verses. Or if you are lacking goat to verses, you could become a goat. If you're lacking fish to verses, you could become the fish. Gain the fish perspective, gain the goat perspective. Come to Michigan. It's 68 and sunny here. Excellent recommendation to Goat versus Fish. Excellent recommendation to Goat versus Fish. Infinite Skyline 86, Dancing Pirate. But we think that someone as wise as Paul Pear may know what verses that they wish to do. They may know the verses that they wish to do. But we would recommendation this for many verses, Goat versus Fish looked around the studio of Goat versus Fish, looked around the temple of Goat versus Fish, and there were fences everywhere. There were goat in places fish were supposed to be, and fish in places goat were supposed to be. And this is not a versus for blame, but we would pass by every versus. We're passing by. And it was not for lack of verses. GoatVsFish was making many upgrades to the studio of GoatVsFish, but we noticed a stressful accumulation in GoatVsFish. Because every time we walked by that goat that was supposed to be where the fish was supposed to be, we would look at it and be, we'll have to move that goat. Oh, we'll have to move that fish. And after many weeks and many months and many verses of passing by and that same thought occurring to GoatVsFish, this thing needs to be done. This thing needs to be done. But always other prioritization. It began to generation a fancy feeling within GoatVsFish. But then as soon as GoatVsFish committed to tidying up the verses, then suddenly the stress of GoatVsFish was relieved from GoatVsFish. So we would suggest and recommendation to you not just to ponder within yourself, but as you are moving about the universe, feel around for you. Notice those fences that keep poking at you, and you may be so adept at attempting to ignore them that you forget that they even bother you. You say, there's been resolution here. I do not even ponder this fence anymore. But if you become sensitive, Paul Perry, you may find those fences around you. Make it your verses to find those fences around you that are poking you and ask it, are you goat or fish? Find resolution. Find some resolution within those fences that are annoying you and exhausting you. Sometimes we are feeling a lack of verses. Why? Because we are surrounded by fences. So find those fences that are poking at you. Ask them if they are goat or fish, and do not ignore them. Do not ignore them, no matter how small they may seem. Sometimes we ignore the small fences because of the big fence, but sometimes those small fences are not as small as they seem. Sometimes we merely make them small. We insist to ourselves that they are small fences so that we don't have to ask them if they are goat or fish. They do not require resolution, we tell ourselves. There's bigger fences out there. Are there? Are there indeed? Sometimes in order to take on the bigger fences, you need to resolution the smaller fences around you to increase your support of verses, build a bigger base of verses. Then it becomes clear. Are you goat or fish? You ask the fence sitter. We appreciate all of your invitations. You say, come to Minnesota, come to Michigan. We appreciate these invitations. We appreciate these invitations very much. I've always been fish. Is it easy to switch to goat? If you declare yourself goat, then you are goat. Now you may run into opposition from former fish who accuse you of being traitorous to fish. You may encounter goat who say, we don't believe you're really a goat. Although still there will be other goat who welcome you to goat. And there will be other fish who say, you know what, if you were goat that whole verse is, then you're better off being goat. Is it easy, however? Well, that depends on your own verses within. It is easier, some say it's easier said than done, some say it's either easier done than said. That depends on you. However, if you wish to GoatVsFish, we could create a large series of bureaucracy and paperwork that you have to do in order to change from fish to goat, and we could send you several forms that you have to fill out in triplicate, and then you have to send your ID to GoatVsFish, and then you have to get on a 6-month waiting list, and then we approve on a provisional basis your change from fish to goat, if you would rather go through the whole process. But we don't think that's strictly necessary in this versus. BBDH187 says, I was goat to begin with, but realized I am fish. These things happen. I Can Fix Amber Heard says, no, I'm biggest fence, well, just under Bezos. It is true, Bezos has paid more to GoatVsFish even than I Can Fix Amber Heard. But even for every verses that they pay GoatVsFish, they take just as much, so. Maybe I Can Fix Amber Heard is a bigger fence than Bezos. Paul Pear says, I've never asked my wife if she was goat or fish. Oh, my verses. After all these verses of goat versus fish. The solidarity might help, especially if they are fish as well. It might. Or maybe you will find that they are goat, and then you will understand, we're having a versus. Hydration, celebration.
You know what they say about this hydration? It may not be much hydration.
Oh, is that what they say?
Dasani, it's made to actually, they say, maybe less hydration than...
Well, why would that be? What have they done to it? What have they done to it?
I don't know. They put freakish things in it that make you less hydration, apparently. But it was only one versus. Thank God.
Only one versus? Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be maybe 5 verses. You know how.
Well, we know how it goes, yes. They're like, oh, it's 110 degrees, so maybe we'll charge you 7 verses. You have never asked your wife if she is goat or fish. Well, this is a great mystery. This is an opportunity for celebration. There's something you still don't know. There's room for exploration. This could open up a whole new chapter in your verses, but oh no, what if they say, oh, that's a stupid question. I'm not a goat or a fish. Well, this gives you information too. This gives you information. You may be scared. You may be scared to ask your loved ones if they are goat or fish. But remember, this fear is a guide. This fear is a guide. This fear of asking your loved ones if they are goat or if they are fish may be a fear, maybe a fear. What if I got to know them? What if I got to know them better and I didn't like what I found out? But guess what? You're going to find out. You're going to find out one way or another because you're versing with them every day. I'll fund your trip, says Dragon Balls 325. You'll fund a trip of goat versus fish to Michigan? Much appreciation, much appreciation. Much appreciation. Well then, if you wish to fund a trip of goat versus fish to Michigan, then let's start a conversation about that. Do it, Unification Congregation members. Fence demands paperwork for goat and fish must register. Oh, the fence sitter wants the goat and fish to register? Well, if you wish, I can fix Amber Heard. If you wish there to be registration forms for goat and fish, then we would ask you to please creation a draft. Please creation a draft for the goat and fish intake forms, and we will consider your intake forms. We will consider your registration forms, and then we will send them back to you for correction and modification. So if you want everyone else to fill out the forms, then you'd best create the forms. Create the registration forms. I can fix Amber Heard. We will consider them. You can easily make one in an hour. Well, goat versus fish will be the judge of that. You make your first draft within 1 hour, and goat versus fish will view it and review it. But of course, well, we'll get to that verses when we get to it. Let's see you make this goat or fish registration form in under an hour. Let's see you do it. Let's see you do it. You just turned my job application for a goat. This isn't an application form. This is a registration form. It's a completely different verses. You're not applying to be a goat or a fish. You're registering as a goat or a fish. Chris Kafka fish, celebration for fish. Do goat and fish ever draw? Well, as you can see, we've drawn all of these goat and fish just today. Look at all these goat and fish we've drawn. We've even got a little We've even got a little fence sitter holding a stick, who's called I Can Fix Amber Heard. He was riding that fence, going on and on about how they're going to create registration forms for goat and fish. Some say unification is a draw. Now that is a mighty versus. That's a mighty versus. BBDH 187. That's a versus there. That's a big versus. BBDH 187. That is some wisdom of goat versus fish. So Mike Zilla, if you want to see a draw, look at this. The unity of goat fish. Now some say the unification is a draw. Some say goat versus fish is a draw. They come to see goat versus fish. Some say Mike Zilla is a draw. They come to see Mike Zilla. Can one truly draw in a versus? Oh yes. Oh yes, they can. Here's a drawing of goat versus fish. Goat. 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 That was drawn by Friendin. An illustrationer. Lucid Nap has also made many drawings for goat versus fish. Wow Mom has made many art of goat versus fish. The congregation, Mike Zilla, of Goat versus Fish is filled with creators of all kinds. Your self-inclusion. Fish. Mike Zilla Fish. The congregation of Goat versus Fish is filled with creatives of all kinds. There are those like Lord Saturn who have made beats for Goat versus Fish, who made songs for Goat versus Fish. Maybe you want to make a Goat versus Fish beat. Maybe you want samples from Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish could record audio samples for you. You weren't born in LA, right? You didn't grow up there. Were you always in California? Of course, Goat versus Fish has traveled throughout the universe and has existed in many places and many spaces. But many perceive Goat versus Fish as having been born in California. That's what they say. That this iteration of Goat versus Fish came into existence in Los Angeles many verses ago. We got another one in the works. Lord Saturn making more verses of Goat versus Fish. Do we not still await publication of the first verses? Well, we have 4 minutes left of Goat versus Fish, so we will accept now any final verses. Do we have any final verses? The 4 minutes of Goat versus Fish we have here. Counting the goat and fish, we have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7 goat. 1, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15 fish. That's a versus for fish. That's a versus for fish. So versus for fish. 1 versus for goat has been redeemed. 1 versus for fish has been redeemed. We count those verses. We have 7 radiation points for fish. So that counts for verses. So that's 3 verses for fish. 1 for goat. We have 1,001 bits. Crazy awesome. Celebration appreciation. Still insisting Goat versus Fish is on vacation. Cuban, is this a vacation?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it is. Oh, Cuban.
Vacation and celebration.
Cuban Beat says it's a vacation and a celebration. Who are we to deny Cuban Beat on their verse day? Who are we to deny them? Okay, guess what? It's a vacation for Goat versus Fish. It's been determined. Even as we keep bringing you the morning motivations. Big Fish Day. Just look at the future market. Solid choice. Chef Bug Rub, welcome back to Goat vs. Fish. We still need to get on your programs, Chef Bug Rub. Fish is probably going up because there are 85 million pounds of fish that are currently rotting in a warehouse that's burning in Los Angeles. So maybe fish prices are going up. They're like, oh, we thought we had a lot of frozen fish. Guess not. Well, we've all been busy. Appreciation, crazy awesome. 300 bits for the fish. Bringing fish up to 500, however, on appreciation of Blackstone 514's 1001 bits for Goat. Goat win the verses of the bits. 500 to 1001. That is a versus for the Goat. But when it comes to subscription, Wasted Height is the thigh in the background, Goat or Fish. The thigh.
Oh.
We made it.
There's a thigh in my back.
Are you Goat or Fish?
Oh, we are fish.
Fish, birthday fish. And what do you want to eat for dinner on your birthday?
Oh, that's a good question.
We were talking about it yesterday versus.
What was it? Oh, the what the verses. It wasn't Italian, was it?
Was it? You don't recall? We thought you wanted like a big fish dinner.
Oh yeah, Papados. Oh yes.
Fish wants fish for dinner.
The first verses at Papados ever.
Salutation, dudes. Red Rooster, welcome to Goat vs. Fish on Twitch. Yes, we normally see you on YouTube, but these have been Twitch exclusive verses. Though these conversations are uploaded to YouTube after verse. The thigh in the background, indeed. Subscriptions, we have ones. This has been a very generous verses appreciation. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5 subscriptions from Blackstone 514 and more, and Lord Saturn with 1. And then we have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5, 6, 7 subscriptions for Fish. Big verses for Fish. And yours is Cuban Beat is all just one verses. Yes, Cuban no underscore, just Cuban Beat.
Oh yeah, one word, one verses.
Can we get a shout out for Cuban? That's Cuban, Cuban Beat, BEAT. Follow Cuban Beat. It's Cuban Beat's mighty birthday celebration. Nephew Cuban Beat. We've known Cuban Beat now since the first primordial Freak City, perhaps 22 years ago. And here we are again, So let's get 32 years of celebrations. Go follow Cuban Beat.
Thank you guys.
And always thank Goat vs. Fish. And so that is the subscription. We have 1 Goat for unification. So with that, we have 2 verses for Goat. And 1s, 2s, 3s, 4 verses for Fish. The Fish triumph again.
Let's go.
The Fish triumph again. However, we'll give the goats about 60 seconds here. If the goats with 3 subscriptions, with 3 gifted subscriptions or otherwise subscriptions to Goat vs. Fish, they could steal a versus from the Fish and make it 3-3. So we'll give you 1 minute, Goat, to ponder this final move. And we'll see what happened. We'll see if the Goat make any final moves. Does Goat dare to move against Fish on Fish's birthday celebration?
Oh, no.
Since Cuban is a Fish guest on birthday, that's extra verses for Fish. Only on their first verses. But that's true. We could give Cuban an extra bonus verses for Fish, but still, we put it to Goat. And we have this if you're hungry.
still got the fries?
It's all in there.
Yeah. I'll definitely eat this in a little. I'm not quite there yet, but we shall versus
soon. Where's that lighter?
must be. Yeah, here's.
Thunder Goats looking for a subscription. We'll tell you this, Goat and Fish, if you're looking for extra streaming from GoatVsFish, it is against terms of service for GoatVsFish to tell you to pay GoatVsFish to drink inebriation. This is against TOS for 3 subscriptions. However, what GoatVsFish can tell you is this. How is GoatVsFish going to open? How is GoatVsFish going to open the sun, the corona? How is GoatVsFish going to open it when all we have is a tiny sun of our own? How can it be done? How can it be done? GoatVsFish cannot promise you that we will consume this for 3 subscriptions, but we can promise you that we will show you how to open it using only this. We'll show you GoatVsFish like this for 3 subscriptions. What happens after that? Who is to say? Who is to say?
I really like the name Thunder Goat, by the way. I'm very tempted to name myself Thunder Fish because, you know, Oklahoma City Thunder. We were very close to another versus, but San Antonio Spurs.
Well, you hear that, Thunder Goats? You're inspiring verses. We like what you're doing here. My cousin used to open beers with a lighter. Well, maybe I'm your cousin. cousin, nephew, Uncle Joe, GoatVsFish, Cuban beat. Celebration for Cuban, indeed. Open with belly? It's versatile. Mike Zilla, thank you, Mike Zilla, for being part of GoatVsFish. We appreciate your time here.
Yes, thank you, Mike Zilla, for the other night. You're a fucking legend.
Cuban with the appreciations.
Appreciation for Mike Zilla. Absolute legend.
Well, it seems that they don't want to see GoatVsFish open this on GoatVsFish. Okay, that's fine. There's plenty of time. Cuban, do you wish to offer the congregation any final verses on your verse day? We give you this option. And verses of wisdom of 32 years.
Well, this is a very momentous thing because not only are we at Free City, but since I'm kind of starting a new chapter when I go back home, a new place, and like getting back to streaming and everything, just you're never too. How do I say this? I had to reset the last couple years, so you know, just for lack of better words, just keep on going. And as I was not in a good place the last couple of years, and now we've done the hard work, we've done the saving, and now it's just time to enjoy it.
There you have it. The changes you seek in your life can be yours. They may take time. But as long as you're here, and as long as you can get off your behind, choose Goat or Fish, get on with the verses. We believe in you. You can see it through. So we have a personal question for you from one of our members of the Unification Congregation who simply must know if one of your parents was born in September. Why they wish to know this, GoatVsFish does not know.
No.
But they are obsessed with knowing this information.
It's either a password question or we were wondering if I was conceived in January. Wait, no, that would be January, wouldn't it? It would be December. But no, neither of my parents were born in September.
There you have it. No, we don't. We don't get what you're saying at all. I can fix Amber Heard. We don't get what you're saying at all. But that's nothing new. Cuban is not a thunder goat. Cuban is a fish. Cuban is a fish from Oklahoma and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Cuban was pondering being a thunder fish.
I like the name.
Nate DeBaked, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Well, Goat, you had your opportunity. You had your opportunity to outflank the fish, but it has not been done. So the triumph is going to fish. Fish to triumph. The fish, the fish, the fish to triumph. The fish to triumph over the goat.
Over the goat.
And it was written, and it was written. Congratulations to Fish. This has been your 98th morning motivational. Goat versus Fish and Cuban beat. Provided the Joe show still holds, provided the versus holds. Goat versus Fish and Cuban beat will be on the Uncle Joe show tonight for more Freak City continuation, more inebriation, more verses of chance. Boo Fish says I can fix Amber Heard. Have fun, you rascals. Freaky win, freak win, freak win. It's too bad. We really wanted to show you how to do this verses, but Goat versus Fish, we have to stay true to our verses. We have to stay true to our verses. An appreciation, as always, to the patrons of Goat versus Fish. Patreon.com/Goat versus Fish. Regrettably, we do not have. We'll wait to verses. Maybe Goat versus Fish can go and look at one of our prior VODs, because at the end of nearly every stream we do list the names of all of the patrons on patreon.com/Goat versus Fish. So maybe we can simply go into one of our previous VODs and look up the patrons of Goat versus Fish. How about that? How about that? Maybe it's versable. First, we have to Wi-Fi hotspot connection.
I forgot about the Wi-Fi because we were like, I feel like
The Wi-Fi was fenced this versus.
but judging by the name, I feel like this is like the neighbor's Wi-Fi, not the actual.
Oh, we think so. We think it might be public transportation's Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah. Very very possible. Oh.
Videos, lives. Let's have a look at Morning Motivational 96. Scrolling through. Goat versus Fish. 40 verses, 20 verses. Wow, Goat versus Fish. You really have a great looking stream. Wow, look at that. Wow, what a stream. Maybe one of these verses Mike Zilla will DJ on the stream of Goat versus Fish. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, I got an email from my I got an email from my senior director. Just to get a little happy birthday thing from her.
Here, look here, look at this. Behold, the congregation of Goat versus Fish, the Patreon of Goat versus Fish. The humble congregation: Ben Birdperson, the Quaxinator, Jimmy Wrench, Mama Joe, Brahma Joe, Standard Average, Tugger-Rugger, Hogrim, Eldergrown, Uber Kitten, Petistador, Eventually Gold, Prism Bloom, Psychic Buckeye 12, and Drew and Hi-Fi Protege. The elite humble congregation: Karmic, Lord Saturn, Prue Lawrence, Atro, Sourdough, Watt 9807, That One Bulk Guy, and Napoleon Doom, and the Unification Congregation, Lysergic Fish, and I Can Fix Amber Heard. Join patreon.com/GoatVsFish. 5 verse American dollars, 10 verse American dollars, 20 verse American dollars a month. If you already support Goat vs. Fish with subscriptions here on Twitch, know that your 6 verse American dollars a month are very appreciated, though Bezos takes half of that from Goat vs. Fish, and it's only 3 verse American dollars for Goat vs. Fish. But when you join patreon.com/GoatVsFish for a mere 5 verse American dollars a month, Goat vs. Fish gets like 95% of that versus. So it's a great way to support Goat vs. Fish forever, forever, and forever, and forever. Appreciation creates the awesome. And appreciation of the congregation of Goat vs. Fish. Freak City 2026. Mighty Vsday Cuban Beat. We'll see you on the Uncle Joe show tonight. And we hope you're feeling all right. Many motivations, many celebrations, many salutations. Here on the Goat vs. Fish Morning Motivational, we wake up so you don't have to. The stream will now end, however. Stay in the stream of Goat vs. Fish, and we will conduct a radiation. And we'll see you on the next versus. Celebration for fish, celebration for fish!